Hard to predict.
Instead of messing with it all day.
Yeah.
Thought you were gonna have a nice quiet day.
Yeah. At first, honestly, when I first heard Savannah, I was like, all right, get to go home. And, oh, okay.
Oh, it's not yet.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm honestly, I'm glad it's at 1 instead of 4 or later, so we can just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Got thoughts?
I'm assuming Art.
As far as level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We good on level? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. I'm assuming we're just talking. We don't have it. No, there's no lineups, no nothing like that. Okay. No.
Another hour, maybe.
I just want. Yeah, that's fine. whatever you feel we need.
Matthew, what if you in Atlanta take one around the field? Stand down the players, you got them line up right, so we can show.
No, I mean, we're not going to compensate. We're just going to. Plus, I don't have a monitor in front of me, so I don't know what you're showing. So I'm just going to talk. You guys will just hope what I'm talking about and hope what's on the screen doesn't make sense.
Yeah, man, you come there.
All right.
The Sunbelt Conference would like to thank the following corporate partners: Wilson, Geico, Acme Oyster House, CCI, Under Armour, Amtrak, Community Coffee, Crystal Farms, and Louisiana Seafood. Pursuant to the integrity of higher education, the Sunbelt Conference holds all individuals associated with the institution's athletic department and events to the highest ideals of sporting behavior. All athletics administrators, coaches, student athletes, spirit groups, and fans shall act with respect, fairness, civility, and honesty in an effort to create an appropriate environment for athletic competition, as well as a positive image for their universities. Racial, sexual, physical, or verbal abuse warrants immediate removal from the facility without warning. Let's give the participants and your fellow fans the respect they deserve. Thank you for your cooperation in this matter and for supporting Sunbelt Conference Soccer.
What do they call number 8? Herman? Dini?
Number 8 for
Dionysus?
DC. DC.
DZ?
Yeah. DC. DC. DC Harmon.
Big boy, man. Jesus.
Do what?
Football. He's a big boy. Should be playing football.
DC?
Yeah.
buddy. Let's do this.
So the first thing I'll talk to you about is just, change of venue, change of schedule, change of playing surface.
Oh, that's good.
How big a deal.
That's perfect because I can talk about this is going to benefit Howard, the play at home, the play turf.
So that's what we'll do.
Excellent.
That'll be the first thing. So hopefully that.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about, normally you can see the screen, the monitor, and they're playing the. I don't care what Drew Keller says about you, you're okay.
The referees for today's match.
You're awesome.
Sean
Thank
Clark,
you.
Kevin Hewitt, Kyle Johnson, and Island Pensar. And now, the starting lineup for the 2018 Sun Belt Conference Soccer Championship. First for the Howard Bison. In goal, number 1.
Welcome to Floyd Morris Field in Savannah for the start of the Sun Belt Conference Men's Soccer Championships. Today we have the quarterfinal matchup between the number 5 seed Howard Bison and the number 4 seed and two-time defending tournament champion Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former MLS first-round draft pick, longtime international U.S. soccer pro and coach Eddie Rodriguez. And Eddie, change of venue, change of schedule, change of playing surface because of the rains and field conditions in Statesboro. That's why we're playing in Savannah today. How big of a deal is that for these two sides?
That's right, Matt. Well, it definitely makes a difference because it gives the advantage to Howard. They're used to playing in turf. Yesterday we're going to play at Georgia Southern. So for them here to come here, a surface they're used to, for Coastal, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But, at the end of the day, as a soccer player, especially in college Division I, you got to get used to the variables. And this is one of those things that have changed, so now you have to adjust, and mentally you have to be ready. This is tournament time. This is for all the marbles. You got to be ready.
And we fully anticipate being able to get back to Eagle Field for the semifinal round tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock Eastern there on the campus of Georgia Southern University in Statesboro. They're going through the starting lineups right now and the introduction, and then we'll have the national anthem. But this is a Howard side, disappointing regular season. Howard finished 2-9-3 overall, 0-4 in the Sun Belt, but they had so many close losses.
Yeah, and if you look at those games, it's really the result doesn't reflect what happened on the field as we get ready for the national anthem.
And we're just about set for the start of this quarterfinal. Again, the Howard Bison and the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, Matt Stewart and Eddie Rodriguez. And going back to the Howard team that Coach Philip Yao says Giles says this is the best side that he's had in his 4 seasons as head coach. They've gone through APR issues. They've gone through the penalties. He feels good about the athleticism of his team. He says they've just been unlucky at times this year.
Yeah, and I think that's a true statement of the Howard season. Stay in every game, close game. If you look at the results, 1-0, 2-1. And when you speak to the coach, he said, we had some clear chances, 1-on-1, 2v1s. And it's just one of those that it's going to take somebody to put the ball in the back of the net early. And you could be looking at the Cinderella story here. A team that's very athletic, by far one of the best teams technically and tactically he's had in 6 years. So he's getting ready to turn this program around. And today could be the day for them.
Meantime, head coach Sean Docking brings his Coastal Carolina team here to Savannah today. Very unfamiliar position. They've won this tournament championship the last 2 years. They find themselves playing on the first day for the first time since they've been in the conference after going 2-2 in the Sun Belt, 9-5 overall. They've got a strong RPI, 33 in the NCAA as of today, but he's pretty confident that they can't afford a loss in this tournament to make the NCAA tournament.
And that's something that, as you mentioned, they're not used to it. Of course, the defending champs in the Sun Belt for them, now they're going to have to play 3 if they want to win it all again. So, the timing is really of the essence because if they're to go victorious today, they got to play, in a short period of time. So for them, it's all about putting their chances away. It's a good team, especially technically out of the back, tactically, and of course, they lost their number 1 scorer for last year. A couple of players who can be key for them today in this match.
Number 11, Yazid Matthews, right there in the middle of the field. He's a guy to watch for Coastal. Coastal in their home white, trimmed in teal, and Yazid Matthews on the longest goal-scoring streak in the country coming into this tournament. He has scored in 7 consecutive matches.
And that's exactly what you want going in the tournament. Somebody who's really on a tear, especially a forward, somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net, especially in tournament time.
Howard in their road red today, trimmed in blue, and their goalkeeper, Carlos Caro, one of the best in the Sun Belt Conference, named all Sun Belt's second team, led the conference in saves with a total of 68 this year.
It's a great chance here for Coastal. Good delivery.
Headed out of there, Andres Gomez, number 10. He's their second leading scorer. Gives it up in the middle to Vincent Turk. Or pardon me, Tyrone Mondi. That was Tyrone Mondi, number 10, giving it up to Geronimo Power. Chased outside the back. ZZ Harmon, number 8. You were commenting on his great size. The ball is centered and over the goal. And a goal kick for Howard.
Yeah, Mondi's definitely a player you're going to have to worry about. Talk about his athleticism and the speed he possesses, of course, great on the ball. So you need to keep an eye on him. But when you look at Coastal, you saw the last play, 3-4 touches outside the box. That's something they do well. They move well off the ball as they try to go forward.
Long kick by Caro. And controlled by Howard at midfield. You can expect this Howard team to be one that really attacks today. They really have nothing to lose. Number 5 seed, have not won in the conference this year. So I expect them to go pretty wide open today.
Pretty wide open, and also the fact that they're so athletic. I think that's one of the best, most athletic teams in this Sun Belt Conference. As you mentioned, they have speed, they have the agility to go forward, and here they got nothing to lose with the results they had this year.
You see them playing back through Caro. You can expect them to do that much today. Coach Philip Giles says he's good on his feet. They'll play through their goalkeeper.
Oh, he basically told us they're going to play Coastal straight up. Going to go with a 4-3-3 and try to go forward.
Up in front to Sabaline, and Caro comes out of there and boots it high into the air, and it's going to reach out of bounds and up into the stands. And in fact, we might actually have a play on it there.
Siki Zabling with a great run behind the Howard defenders. He was onside, so the timing of it is just the right spot for Coastal.
To the other side, and Odendahl, the current Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week. It's Kervin Fidel with the left-footed boot out of there. Guy that Coach Sean Docking feels like has some pro potential. That's Mondi in the middle. Long pass to the sideline and headed back the other way by Morton Tim. Now Mondi in a chase for it.
That's going to be a great 1v1 challenge right there between Mondi and the right fullback from Howard, Rudy Aker. Going to continue to go one-on-one on that left side.
Giovanni Garwood will take the throw in for Howard. He is subbing in today for the injured Vincent Turk. Turk, one of their fine freshman left backs who had played every minute this season until injuring his knee in their regular season finale, a 3-0 loss at App State last week.
And finally, Howard gets the free kick foul on Duncan Dankwu.
Long pass into the box, and Datalo comes out to make the play. Chris Datalo, their senior goalkeeper, transfer from Quinnipiac. Not your typical goalkeeper, 5'11". He's not one of these big guys in goal.
Yeah, another player from Howard who needs to have a good game is number 10, Andres Gomez, is the attacking center mid. Very good, very technical. Somebody that coach thinks he's got a higher soccer IQ, and he can definitely be a catalyst in this game against Coastal.
Fidel up the sideline, going to go all the way back to Caro. Caro made the all-tournament team a year ago.
Matt, you talked about Fidel. His ability to come forward, and he's done great on the left side. He's got a great left foot. Just hit the ball 60 yards. Great diagonal ball.
Sliding tackle and a whistle on Howard. That's Rashawn Clark, our referee here today, with some words for the two sides after that hard tackle near the sideline.
Yeah, Lloyd Pierre coming in with a 2-footed tackle. He did get some of the ball, but unfortunately got some of the player as well. Referee called it, and the whole Coastal bench gets up.
So that's Tyrone Monde who will take the kick here from about 30 yards out. Monde in the middle. Ball is headed towards Caro and booted out of there by the Bison.
Yeah, great job by Monde in that free kick. Of course, he was looking for the big man, number 4, Henrik Moeller, the big center mid. Every bit of 6'4", you see him right there on the ball. Can be a great piece, especially on corner kicks, set pieces. He got a piece of that. Not a great header, not a lot of power, but
Fidel heads it away. That was Dankwu who was coming in there hard. And he's a big kid. Duncan Dankwu, 6'3" freshman out of Germantown, Maryland. A lot of the players on this Bison side out of that Maryland and D.C. area. Of course, Philip Zhao, their head coach, former U.S. national team member and an alumnus of Howard University. They head to Matthews. Matthews can run it down on the sideline.
And that's the ball that Howard doesn't want to give up. I mean, when they've been in games this year, they're pressing, all of a sudden they get a counterattack, and that was the counterattack that Coastal almost had that could have done some damage because Mondi was open in that spot.
Odendahl on the sideline brings it up. Right into the middle. There's Matthews right outside the box. Fires and deflected away by Caro.
Outstanding save by the goalkeeper, Carlos Caro, at the end. And what a great chance once again for Yacit Matthews, the forward from Coastal. Howard playing very flat. That through ball left him one-on-one with the keeper, basically. And Caro has to make a great save, the first save of the game for him.
Corner from Mondi. Sabaline right outside the box. And again, Caro gets his hands up to deflect it away.
And once again, Caro with a great save. You don't want to put that kind of pressure on your goalkeeper the entire game, so Howard needs to tighten up the defensive scheme and the back. Coastal with a lot of freedom, especially going forward. They're finding space. They're finding gaps. They've had 2 great shots on goal already.
Odendahl gets it back to Matthews. Right side of the box. Now Sabaline in the box out in front. Cleared to the side by the Bison. Intended for Danku, who's going to roll out of bounds.
And you see a great job at Coastal with a 1-2, especially in top of the 18. Couple of different players, Mondu, and players making runs into the box. You get the idea that it's just a matter of time. You can put one of those on target.
Yeah, Coastal putting a lot of pressure on Caro early in this match. Caro had an astounding 10 saves in their scoreless draw against VMI 6 weeks ago and was named the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week.
And that's the kind of game he's having today, too. And Howard's going to need him just to keep the team in the game. They need to be able to withstand the pressure from Coastal in this first 20 minutes.
Morton Tim with the left foot, intercepted by the Bison. Guillermo, their leading scorer, has his foot on the ball for the first time today.
And you see Carroll, cool, calm, and collect in the back.
Coach Chow feels like they have really improved from a year ago. Has some really important young players on that back end. He's really excited about them. Unfortunately, Turk, one of those, is unavailable today because of his knee injury. Tackle at midfield and a whistle. Yellow card comes out.
Andres Gomez with the tackle. He gets the first yellow card of the game. And actually, we heard his reaction. He said, "That's my first foul." He does have a point, however. It's kind of a bad foul in the middle of the pitch. And the first yellow of the game.
And Fidel will take the kick just outside midfield. All Sunbelt first team. Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Week 3 weeks ago. Big 6'2" senior out of Costa Rica. Left-footed chip towards Matthews.
That's one of the things Matthews does so well. He can post up like a number 9, hold the ball, and that's exactly what he did. He brought the ball down. He was looking to play the ball to someone, and he's always looking for Mondi making a run on the left side.
Long pass across the field, intercepted by the Chanticleers. Sabaline slips and falls down on this turf. A lot of rain, of course, here in southeast Georgia. On the attack, the Bison. Long kick in the goal! Bison take the lead!
Outstanding job by Howard, just knocking the ball around, and they get through to the entire defense, who really wasn't ready. Just outstanding finish with a one-touch to the far post. Nothing the goalkeeper, Chris Datalo, could do. And Howard just like that. We talked about how this is the kind of season they've had. When you look at Coastal Carolina, had a couple of great shots. Their goalkeeper, Carl, has put him in, and all of a sudden, Howard, with their first chance going forward, well, they capitalize, and they go up 1-0 early in this game.
So Howard takes the 1-0 lead here in the opening 12 minutes.
Daniel Hart is a player from Howard who scored that goal, made a great run from the outside. Took care of 2 of the Coastal defenders, and just what a great finish to the far post. Keeper Chris Datalo came out and just a clinical finish to go up 1-0 in this game.
And remember, that was a young man that Coach Jow told us needs to work on finishing. He was great in open fields, great on 2v1, 3v1, and he did finish right there and got the goal for the Bison in the 1-0 lead.
Well, Matt, as you know, that's actually how you get that experience and you get that confidence. When you get another one and you put it in the back of the net, you feel pretty good about yourself, and now there's a lot of tournament to be played, so that's great for him to be able to capitalize early in the first game. And so is for Howard, a team that has struggled, especially finishing when they had their chances. And as Coach Gow told us, in the one-on-one department, we've been atrocious the whole year.
So how does this, if at all, change Howard's approach, having taken the early 1-0 lead in the opening 12 minutes?
Oh, this changes everything, because most of the time, Matt, they're chasing the game now. They can just sit back and wait for it, especially at a field that is kind of narrow. You know, it's still going to be a tough game, but for them, having that 1-0 lead, it gives you a little bit of breathing room. You can just sit back a little bit. You can, it's way too early to start wasting time, but now they can just get that confidence in. This is exactly what Coach was talking about. This is what they need. One positive thing to go in their favor, and things can happen the right way.
Substitution for the Chanticleers as Paavo Harjarvi checks in, and Henrik Muller comes out. And the Daniel Hart goal at the 11-minute mark, 12-minute mark, giving the Bison the early 1-0 lead.
Coastal asking for the foul outside the 18. The referee says play on. I think that's the type of game we're going to see here, Matt. Just a very physical game for whatever's left of the first half. And, of course, the second half, I mean, as you remember, this team's played during the season, and it was pretty much a one-goal difference every time they play.
Well, the last three meetings between these two sides have been one-goal victories for Coastal, including a 2-1 victory.
Daniel Hart with a good diagonal ball, looking for Franchino Chambers.
This is the seventh all-time meeting between Howard and Coastal. Bison won the first ever meeting back in 1993, but Coastal, their 5 wins, 4 of those 5 wins have come in the last 2 seasons. A 2-1 victory for the Chanticleers in D.C. 3 weeks ago.
And Ziggy Zabaling gets foul.
Fidel with the left-footed boot to the far side, and Mondi waiting for it.
That's a great diagonal ball that Fidel's been hitting. It's a 60-yard run on the money diagonal, which it's great because you can beat the whole entire defense with one ball. And Fidel's got that great left foot delivery. So dangerous, especially when you're going across the field. Matt, as you know, not everybody can hit that 60-yard switch on the money.
And that's one of the reasons why Coach Sean Docking feels like Fidel's got some real pro potential, got a unique skill set with that left foot.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the next level, you got to be able to hit those 50, 60-yard switches on the money. It's not just hitting the ball far. It's hitting the ball when you talk about accuracy, pinpoint accuracy all the way to the other side of the field. And Mondi is their receiver on the other side. And, of course, also Matthews in a couple of times.
"15 minutes in here in Savannah, and Howard with the early 1-0 lead. Morton Tim down, and he'll need some medical attention there near midfield. Looks like he maybe got hit in the side of the head and around his ear. Morton Tim, the defense out of Germany, transfer from USC Upstate. They'll sub in for him. Ryan Willoughby from Levittown, New York, will sub in for the injured Tim.
Willoughby comes in as left mid. And Willoughby can make a run out of the back when you have Fidel taking that space and hitting that 50, 60-yard switch. Matt, if there's one thing we definitely expected out of this game is this physicality, how
Mm-hmm.
how physical it was going to be. And, of course, as you know, when you play in turf, it gets maximized.
Ball will go all the way through to Detallo.
You see, Howard usually plays with a 4-3-3 right now. After they score that goal, they're playing more of a 4-4-2. And you hear Coach Philip Gao yelling about, we're giving them too much space. And you don't want to do that against a great technical team like Coastal. They have a lot of good players technically who can definitely put the ball and get behind the whole entire defense.
And they'll play through. And a throw-in coming for the Bison here at midfield.
And you saw Duncan Dooku check into the ball, trying to flick it. The big man on top trying to hold the ball, and that's truly what you want out of that spot. You want your big man on top just to come in and hold the ball and give you that extra time for midfielders to get up and try to get something forward. If not, you're going to be chasing, playing defense the whole entire time.
Odendahl scoots the ball up to Power, intercepted by the Bison. It seems, Eddie, that the tendency would be when you get that early lead that maybe you play off a little bit more, and that's what Coach Zhao was talking about. With this side, you're given too much space.
No, you're absolutely right, and that is the last thing you want to do. You want to start backing out. There's still a lot of time in the clock. You want to step up. You want to close the gaps. You want to close the space. You don't want him time to pick up their head and pick up the target, because Coach Gao knows that he's playing against a really good team, especially technically and tactically. They're very well coached, so you got to make sure you don't give him time to think and time to play the ball.
Chip towards the box, long kick up in the air and controlled by the Chanticleers. And Sabaline comes out of there with it. Centers up to Matthews, behind the back kick, nicely done to Willoughby. Willoughby ahead, and Carroll's going to have to come out of the net to get it.
Great job by Carlos. Carl, once again, always playing heads up. He's literally staying on his 18, knowing that anything coming through from Coastal, he can just step in and win it.
Intercepted. Matthews chips it back to Sabaline. Sabaline, the Sunbelt newcomer of the year. He's out of Johannesburg, South Africa. Tackle and play on. Ahead it comes to Giarma.
Victor Girma with the offside, but I tell you what, it was really close. By the time the ball was played, of course, the linesman has a lot better view than we do, Matt, but that was really close from where we're sitting. It's a great idea, though, because you play the ball into space where the player can make a run into, not necessarily where the player is, which is how you want to play the ball into space. And now you see Howard almost sitting back, more of a 4-5-1 system. And, of course, Victor Girma, the only forward. Now Duncan Doku playing more like a number 10, like a withdrawn forward, if you will.
Disappointing season from the standpoint, so many up and down matches for Coastal Carolina. They have won 4 of their last 5. Their only setback, a 4-3 loss at Georgia State 10 days ago. But how does this early deficit impact them from the standpoint of, I don't want to use the word panic, but you're in a situation where your season ends today if you don't win?
Yeah, no, definitely something. You're right. You don't want to hit the panic button yet, but something you got to take care of it. You're good enough to play, as we see this great driven ball into the box.
Highly driven. Detallo goes up to get it.
But you do not want to just sit back and think you're going to be able to come back. It's going to be a tough thing to come back, but you got to get to work now. There's roughly 24 minutes left in this first half, and you got to get to work. More than that, Matt, you want to establish your system, because right now it's anybody's game. Referee saying that Zeke came back from an offside spot. He's been so active in this first half, running all over the place, trying to make himself available, checking to the ball.
Lloyd Pierce on the back line will take the kick. Floats in there and headed out by the Chanticleers.
Yeah, not a great delivery. That's the type of ball you want to drive it into the box and give your forwards truly a chance. Yeah. You know, you're playing with Duncan Duncan, one of the tallest players for Howard, you want to give him a chance. You drive the ball into the box, invite the goalkeeper to come out, and hopefully somebody can just flick it into the back and put yourself in a great situation.
Yeah, you mentioned Dunkwu, who's at 6'3". Joel Cunningham is 6'4". Ball ahead and intercepted by the Bison.
And that's when you got to have that awareness, Matt, knowing that you have a couple of 6-footers, and especially in set pieces when you're up 1-0. Two things you can do. You can shave a little bit of time every time you have a corner kick, a set piece, and then after that, take care of that delivery. Give your team a chance and your forwards a chance to really get in there and hopefully get another crack at it.
Matthews, over the crossbar. I think it deflected off the goalpost right behind the goal.
Yeah, Sid Matthews with the best chance for the Chanticleers. Great ball from the outside by Monty, though. Play the ball to the far post, and Matthews, left foot, could have equalized his game and just hit the ball over the bar. You're right, it hit the actual crossbar from the football post.
Matthews, such a dangerous player, leads the nation. 7-match goal-scoring streak. He scored 2 goals in each of his last 4 matches, a total of 11 goals during the last 7 matches. Drops it back for Harmon, who kicks it out of bounds.
And DC Harmon, great idea, wrong club. He was trying to switch the point of attack, looking for Monty out wide, who's been making just a couple of great runs. Howard needs to put someone on him because he played a great ball to the far post, and unfortunately Matthews didn't quite get there with good footing. He was sliding tackle when he made contact with that ball to the far post.
Fidel up the sideline to Willoughby. Willoughby chips it back to him. Willoughby on a run on the outside of the left box. Centers out in front for Matthews. He can't get to it.
It was a great one, too, between Willoughby. Just to get that cross.
Well, Coach Chow felt like against Georgia State, Georgia Southern, and Coastal, 3 of their 4 losses in the conference this year, that those matches could have gone either way. 2-5 in 1-goal matches. They have not won since their victory at Rutgers on October 9th. So it's been a while since they tasted victory. But right now, a 1-0 lead on Coastal Carolina in this Sun Belt quarterfinal in what would be a huge upset.
And here's where you see that athleticism of Howard. They dumped the ball in the corner, and they send one player to chase it. That was Victor Girma, of course, with great athletic ability and speed. Even better job, the captain in the middle just drawing that foul. This is what I was talking about, Matt. You want to take care of the time, take your time, make sure that delivery has to be inside the box, and it's got to be a great driven ball into your forward's head.
Pierre will take this kick. Actually, it will not be Pierre taking. Well, it will be Pierre taking the kick.
The other thing here for Howard, you got to get more players in the box.
Hard strike into the box. It's in there and deflected out by the Chanticleers. They had a good look. Bison did. They still control it over here on the right side. Willoughby off his face into the corner for Sabaline.
That's exactly what I was referring to. Anything can happen inside the box, but the delivery has to be a good one. A lot of the times it's going to deflect at one of the defenders, and that's pretty much what happened with one of the defenders from Coastal. Couldn't clear the ball.
Howard continuing to provide the pressure here.
And that's what you want to do in this game. You want to keep the pressure on that side of the field. You're up 1-0. You're controlling the score. You're controlling the time as well. Now, anything you can do going forward, it's a plus. If you're able to capitalize in one of this, now you're in a great spot in this first game of the tournament.
Pierre will take this corner. You see Dunkwu standing right there in front of the net. Danku, let's see if the ball goes to him. They had a shot at it, and Danku couldn't get a clean strike off his head and out of bounds.
Great job by Howard. Good delivery, looking for Duncan Danku. As you mentioned, he makes contact with the ball, not the most comfortable, doesn't quite direct it the right way, but just the fact that you get another chance in goal, it's great for your team. And just mentally right now, you know you're in this game.
Eddie, Coastal just made 4 substitutions, and that has been a big issue for Howard. Coach Jow says he feels like his starting 11 matches up with any side in the conference, but it's depth issues when the opponent starts to make substitution, get fresh legs on the field. It has great wear and tear on his side, and eventually that's where they've lost a lot of their matches.
No, that's a great point that you bring up, and it's absolutely a valid point. You look at all the players from Howard warming up, but truly you see that Coach Philip Gao doesn't even turn and look that way. He's looking to keep his starting 11 on the pitch to win this game and go to the next round. On the other half, of course, you see the amount of subs they've had so far in this first half.
And you have to look at this match, especially if you're Coastal. Nothing against Howard. Howard, this would be a huge upset, but from the Coastal standpoint, you have to look at this match with one eye towards tomorrow, anticipating if you can come back and get this win, you're going to have to play in 24 hours against the number 1 seed in the conference, Georgia State.
One, especially if not only against the number 1, as you mentioned, Georgia State, but just the way that you're not going to have a lot of subs and you put so much stress in the starting 11. And that's actually how Howard lost his game in the final last year. They were victorious in the semifinal, a team that wasn't supposed to go through. They ended up pulling it off. He's going to be the second yellow of the game for sure.
Yeah, Morton Tim grabbed the jersey and brought him down, and that'll be our second yellow, as you pointed out, Eddie. And that'll be the first on the Coastal side.
Exactly the last thing you want to do. You talked about hitting the button of panic. You don't want to start doing those things. The last thing you want, imagine if you get a red card in this game now, then you're pretty much assigning the fate of your team. So you have to stay cool and calm. There's still 17 minutes of this first half and another 45 in the second. Plenty of time for Coastal to put one in the back of the net and tie this game.
Substitution for Coastal. Nati Andali checks in.
That's a great sub right there. You want to take him out. Martin Tim with a yellow because you want to give him a little bit of time to cool off. And I understand it's a physical match, tournament time, and you get the jitters and all that, but you have to stay calm. You cannot ruin what the program has been doing for the whole year just on something, simple as a red card.
Pierre trying to go the way of Daniel Hart, who has scored the only goal of this match back in the 11-minute mark. Hart with his first goal of the season, and what a timely one for the Bison to give them the 1-0 lead in this quarterfinal.
One of the best things Coastal could do right now is move the ball. They've done well keeping it, but you got to be able to move it, get around.
On the left, and a nice sliding tackle there. Ball centered out in front, but the Bison going to be there to clear it.
It was a great idea by Saeed, though, because he had Matthews wide open in the far post once again. Referee says no foul on Donku.
To the other side, and Odendahl. Man down for Coastal. We play on. Counterattack. Bison. Long run. Trying to connect with Chambers and could not. Franchino Chambers, number 23, the intended target on that pass.
Yeah, that was a great through ball. And he wasn't able to bring the ball with his right foot. Franchino in that great spot. Had he taken a touch with his right foot, he would have been on one-on-one with the last defender.
Ahead to Matthews, the very dangerous Yazid Matthews, and a whistle going against Coastal as Matthews argues his case with Rashawn Clark.
Well, we definitely expected this game to be a bit cheapy like this. You get into tournament time and definitely a physical game, but Matthews with a great turn on top of the 18, trying to find space. And as you know, Matt, he's always dealing with 2 defenders from Howard.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of marking him so far today.
Of course, Coach Philip Gao knows that you got to take care of their number 11. one of the best players in the conference.
Willoughby to the far side. Out in front, going to soar over the net.
Even though that wasn't the right delivery in that cross, Matt, that's exactly what they need to do. Just switch your point of attack. The 1-2s are always great because you're going to get the Howard defenders out. The movement of the ball has to improve, as the referee's telling goalkeeper Carlos Caro to hurry up and stop wasting time, according to him.
Under 14 and a half minutes left in this first half. Bison leading the Chanticleers 1-0 in this quarterfinal. Physical play there at midfield. Whistle going against Howard. Chanticleers quickly put it back in play.
And this is why I was telling you that Andres Gomez, number 10 for the Bisons, has to have a good game because he's playing in the middle. And once again, now you're watching the grab of the jerseys, and the referee's got to get a hold of this game.
Andale whistled. Nati Andale, who had just checked into the ball game. You hear Philip Zhao on the bench for Howard saying that should be a yellow card. He didn't get it. We've already had 2 yellows in this game. Tim for Coastal Carolina and Gomez for Howard. And Zhao still letting the sideline official hear it.
Pablo can't quite get to that ball, and Howard working under pressure once again, Matt. They've done a good job in the last 10 minutes. Nothing has gone behind them. You want to keep everything in front. The flat back 4, you got to make sure you're not flat. But you got to make sure you keep marking that number 11. He's been always looking to get the ball, Matthews.
Yeah, Matthews trying to work through a double team there and lost the ball. Now the Bison on the attack. Chip ahead for Gomez, who can't run it down.
I'm starting to see Coastal Carolina just loosen their cool a little bit. They're panicking, and that's the last thing you want to do. There's still plenty of time, 12 in this first half and 45. This is when you, captain, has to say, hey, guys, come down. Let's play our game. Because now if you get into a Howard's game, which is a very physical, very athletic, I just don't think they can match.
Yeah, I agree with you. There seems to be some frustration setting in for Coastal right now.
That's a great ball into space for Yassif.
Strike, and Caro is there to intercept it.
Jaif Alhameli's made a couple of great runs. He's playing on the left side, but he switched to the right, and he found himself open a couple of times. Very good player, technically.
It'll go through to Talo. He'll throw it over here to Fidel. Ahamali. And then intercepted by the Bison and back the other way.
And seeing now Howard doing a great job finding their big man Victor Guillermontov. Between him and Donku, the 2 forwards, they're finding success because they're checking to the ball, and anytime Howard can find them on the ground, they're going to be able to keep the ball and create something going forward.
Pierre is back here and heads it the other way. Matthews.
And see, that's exactly what you were referring to, Matthews. Every time he touches the ball, he's got 2 Bison defenders on him. So it's going to be hard for him to turn. He's got to play off the ball and get it back again.
So knowing that's the case, what can Coastal do? Ball goes through and Hart couldn't get to it.
So what he's got to do is when he checks to the ball, he's got to play the ball one time, spin off, and then get the ball going the other way. Because when you try to turn yourself, that's when you're going to run into trouble. 1 or 2 players from Howard, always close to you. Remember, a defender, all they got to do is toe poke the ball, and they've done their job. You keeping the ball, got to be able to control it and play a quality ball or even take a shot.
Corner kick coming up for Coastal. And a substitution.
Well, we see the first substitution for Howard.
Jaden Fortune is going to check in for Matthews here with 10 minutes to play in the half.
Joshua Kulubiaka is going to come in He's going to sub probably Duncan Dunku on other forward. And right now, this is what Howard needs. Somebody who can play that spot, the number 9, who can hold the ball. That way they can have an outlet. Got to find someone to post up and keep the ball, draw the foul perhaps, give you a little free kicks outside the box.
And pardon me, that was not a corner, by the way. It was a throw-in on the side. Daniel Hart with the lone goal in the 11th minute. And a 1-0 lead for the Bison as we click under 10 minutes to play here in the first half of this quarterfinal. Playing in Savannah today because of rain and field conditions in Statesboro. We'll get back to Eagle Field tomorrow for the semifinals. The winner of this game will play in the semifinals tomorrow against number 1 seed Georgia State. Fidel with the strike ahead to Willoughby. Willoughby gets a chip back to him. Willoughby in the left side of the box. Still in control.
Great job by Willoughby getting to the 18 and trying to deliver the ball. Gomez with a great ball into space.
Wow, Ditalo out of the net. An open net for the Bison, and they cannot get to it.
And that's exactly what I was telling you about, where you have a number 9 who can hold the ball, and that's going to give you an outlet. Well, what a great chance.
Gierma had an open net and couldn't get to it.
I like the message from Philip Gao, the coach. He's been telling the players to stay where you are and just relax. Composure. That's exactly what he said. And that's exactly what you need right now with just about 8 minutes in the first half. Stay composed. Know your role. Stay within your role. Don't try to do somebody else's job. It becomes more complicated, Matt.
How close were we right there from this match being virtually over?
Absolutely right. They put the second one in the back of the net, and now it's time to hit the panic button for Coastal.
Willoughby. Nicely done by the Bison.
Rudy Acre with a timely tackle. Great job.
Yeah, Acre, the freshman, defense out of Dunbar High School there in Washington with a super big play, but sets up a corner kick now for Coastal.
Yeah, Willoughby was definitely in. Great touch into the 18, and right at the end, Rudy came in, just toe poked the ball. Corner kick here. Saif Al-Hamali.
Is that a United Arab Emirates? Going to take the corner here. And a push on Coastal.
You saw Pablo in the back. Another 6-foot player from Coastal got up, headed the ball, but before that he pushed the Howard defender in the back. Referee close to the action, calls it inside the 18.
Zhao continues to work the official here on the sideline. That poor guy, he's taken the brunt of the criticism from Zhao for the calls being made on the field.
Matt, the fourth official always gets it from both coaches, and you know
Zhao's been working him, man, like a pro.
Oh, so was Sean Docken in the first half with a couple of calls, and you know what? They're the psychiatry of the actual referees. They get to hear it all.
Daniel Hart over there on the far side, going to try to get it back right here, and a tackle. Clean tackle, and they're going to play it back the other way. Nice play by Odendahl.
And Victor Irma, 17 for Howard, once again checking into space and just laying the ball off. That's what he needs to do, playing as a number 9. Dunku still looking to come out. And perhaps
a couple of substitutions standing here at the table waiting for the Bison.
And Kalubiaka is one of them. This is the ball Howard needs. It's got to be a good ball into space. And that's exactly the way they score that first early goal in the 10th minute.
Fidel. Willoughby behind the back, and then the ball intercepted by the Bison. Guillermo comes up to make a play on it. Strong play by Guillermo, who gives up a lot of size there to
Pavel, who's
Rahavajarvi.
every bit of 6'4". He's playing defensive center mid for Coastal. And Coastal have a couple of great players with a lot of presence. It's either him or the other players, Henrik Moller, the German, and they both sit in the hole right there for Coastal. Flat back 4, and he plays like a number 6.
Ball taken to the face by Kalix, and he's down. Has not gotten up yet, and now they'll blow the whistle and ask for medical attention for Jorge Kalix, the senior midfielder who took a ball to the face. '40th minute. This will give everybody a chance to kind of catch their breath a little bit.
Yeah, and Jorge Kalix will probably come out for Luke Williams, 22. The two players from Howard still looking to come in the game and give somebody a break.
And there's the substitution for the Bison. Kobayashi, Joshua Kobayashi checks into the game, number 7.
Substitution number 7, Joshua Kalabaka.
Kalubiaka, another player from Maryland, but another player who can get behind the Coastal Carolina defense. He's got a lot of speed, so I'm going to try to look for him in that long ball.
Fidel with some hesitation now finally gives it up to Gerbig. Gerbig boots it ahead down the sideline for Luke Williams, who just checked into the game. Under 5 minutes left in regulation this first half.
So this is when the experience of the coach, Philip Weil, comes into play. The last 5 minutes, he's making a couple of subs. Every time you make a sub, you're shaving 30, 40 seconds off the clock, knowing that if they go out that half, the 1-0 lead, they might be able to pull it off. They're doing everything technically possible. Tactically, they're playing a good, solid defense. 4 in the back. They got players in the middle. And don't forget, they got that breakaway forward, a couple of players like Victor Girma, who can, in the second half, come in and perhaps put that second one in the back of the net.
It'll be interesting to see Docking's approach if they indeed go to halftime here down 1-0. What the approach will be in the second half, and what is a pressure situation for a Coastal Carolina team that's won back-to-back Sun Belt Tournament championships. Coach Docking with 295 victories on his resume in 23 years as a college head coach. He's been in a lot of these situations.
A lot, and of course, let's not forget a coach and an ex-pro player as well with a lot of experience. So trust me, he's not panicking right now. He knows what he needs to do, and the answer to that is you got to keep playing your game. Coastal has a lot of great players. You got to keep switching point of attack. They're doing so and find those gaps. But the biggest thing, when you have your chances, you got to put them away.
This is a Coastal program with 15 NCAA tournament appearances, 14 conference championships, regular season and tournament. Willoughby couldn't get a good strike on it.
You see great movement. Shot from Willoughby, not anywhere near the goal, but the movement from Coastal has been exceptional, especially the last couple of minutes of the game, moving the ball from left to right. Players going in and out of the box, and now playing the number 9 spot is Fortune, Jaden Fortune, and he's been able to keep the ball played, 1-touch, 2-touch. That combination play has paid dividends for Coastal.
You know, and Eddie, we talk about the great resume historically for this Coastal Carolina program, the 15 NCAA tournaments, the 14 regular season, 14 tournament championships, but how much does that come into play with a side that has 16 new players after graduating 13 seniors off last year's team? It's great to have the resume, but not a lot of these players have been involved with that.
No, that's a great question, because now you're dealing with players who never been there, right? You've been there as a coach, as a referee say, no, it's red ball, Howard. You talk about the players being physical, but you're right. A lot of these players are new. They're new to the system. They're new to college. They haven't been here, so it's a totally new situation for them. So the question is, do they have enough experience on the field to pull it off We know the coach on the outside does have that experience, but you got to be able to translate that to your players, see if they can pull it off.
And that's a great point. You were talking about getting acclimated to the college game. From your standpoint, when you came into the college game, how much more difficult was it with the scheduling of the games and the practice and the travel?
Well, of course, that's always the logistic part of it, the traveling, the practice, playing the Friday, Sunday turnaround. But the speed of the game, man, was totally different. You get out of high school and you think you're a big fish in the small pond, and all of a sudden you get to D1 and you're dealing with the size of the game and some size of the players and the speed of the game, and it changes everything. So it definitely takes a good period for you to adjust.
I would also think not only the speed of the game, but the physicality.
Oh, for sure.
If you're a scorer, now you're going to have a big body on you every match.
And that's why a lot of these schools, they bring some of these international players. Great idea by Andres Gomez, trying to play the ball into space. Of course, looking for Victor Girma, who's been so active in this first half. But you're right, the size difference sometimes.
Final minute of this first half. Willoughby loses it, intercepted by Pierre, and he will take a long boot ahead to Guillermo, and Fidel goes back to get it.
Well, the Bison's definitely keeping up with the pressure. They've had an answer for everything that Coastal Carolina. Great tackle in the middle for Andres Gomez.
Yeah, super tackle, sliding tackle right there. Gomez a chance to get rid of it. He gets knocked down by Becerra.
And, Matt, that's why that number 6 spot is so important with every team, that defensive center mid, because you got to do both roles. You got to play great defense. You saw Andres Gomez with a great tackle, but also you got to be able to be good with the ball, delivering services going forward. And a couple of times he's played a couple of great balls, looking for Donku on top and also looking for Victor Girma.
You can hear Philip Jow yelling across the field at our referee, Rishon Clark, as Clark makes a notation on his pad. Pierre will take the kick here in our final minute of the first half.
Well, Philip Jow had a great point saying that's not a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge when a player's coming from behind. And actually, Andres Gomez got hit in the shoulder blade, so not on his shoulder.
So the first half comes to a close with the Howard Bison, no doubt a stunning 1-0 lead on Coastal Carolina here after the first 45.
Well, Howard finally was able to put their chances. They had one that put it away. Coastal had a couple of clear ones, and they were not able to put them away. Just see Matthews, probably the best chance. Monty with a great ball to the far post, and Matthews wasn't able to close the gap. But just the kind of game we expected, Matt. We expected both teams to come out, play some good soccer, but we expected the physicality of and athleticism of Howard to be one of the biggest aspects in this game.
No doubt about it. 11 fouls called on Coastal Carolina in the first 45 minutes as they, trying to use their size, their physicality, maybe to, kind of dominate Howard a little bit. Howard had one shot on goal in that first half, and it connected the back of the net, Daniel Hart.
And that's exactly opposite of what their season for them went to. A lot of the times they had a couple of one-on-ones against the keeper, and they were not able to put them away. And in this game, they had one shot, one goal, and, of course, you got to love the percentage like that.
Yeah, 6 shots for Coastal in that first half, 4 shots on goal, 3 saves by Carlos Caro, second-team All-Sun Belt. Total saves leads the conference for the regular season, and continuing to do in the first half what he's done all regular season for this Bison side.
And I'll tell you what, in the first 5 minutes of the contest, he came up with some huge saves. He had one-on-one already, actually. He had a one-on-one with Matthews that he just came out and just grabbed everything around him. And that's what you want and what you need out of your goalkeeper, especially early in this game. But you want your goalkeeper to keep you in the match, and Carlos Caro did just that.
Yeah, I like what Bison's approach to Yazid Matthews. He had 2 shots on goal in that first 45, but by and large, he was marked with a double team the entire 45.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much the tactical approach from Coach Philip Gow. To anytime he touches the ball, the first 2 players are going to close him down. One goes to the ball, the other one is going to go right behind him for the 1-2 punch. And they've been able to contain him. That's the word, because he did have a good half, a couple of good passes. He played the ball, he checked in, he laid the ball off, but they haven't been able to let him turn on top of the 18, and that's what you want. You don't want him on the ball in time as well, because he's the type of player who can definitely put you in a lot of trouble, and he can put the ball in the back of the net.
So, Eddie, you've been in those locker rooms. Tell us what's the message from Coach Philip Zhao right now. He had told us yesterday, leading up to the quarterfinal, that his team just needs to beat a really good team, need to break that habit of losing. Kind of felt like it had become a psychological baggage for them. But here they are, 45 minutes away from upsetting Coastal Carolina and moving to the semifinals.
Yeah, for Coach Zhao, I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and he said, you know what, Eddie, we need something to bring us together and to believe. And I think they got it. That early goal against a great Coastal Carolina team, a team that plays so well tactically and technically as well. And, they've been looking for that the whole season. And I think he's a great coach, not only on the field, but mentally. He talked about, we are so close, but yet so far. If you look at going 0-4 in the Sun Belt Conference and now getting to the tournament, and this could be the catalyst in this first game of the tournament for them, for them to go all the way. Last year, of course, they upset a team in the semifinal. They made it to the final. They play against the same team, Coastal, and, it was a close game as well, but nowhere near as good as today.
Yeah, he said they felt like they should have won 7 or 8 games this year. As it was, they came in with a 2-9-3 record into this quarterfinal matchup. And he said teams typically come to play them in D.C. or on the road and they look at it and say, how does this team have this record? I think Coastal probably not surprised by this Howard team whatsoever. I would not attribute the 1-0 deficit to any kind of surprise by any means. They just played them 3 weeks ago, and it was a 2-1 match then.
No, and even when you and I spoke to Sean Dawkins, the head coach from Coastal Carolina, the first thing he said, listen, we're not going to take him lightly. We know that their record doesn't, truly reflect the way they play and the chances they've had, because every time we played him, it's been a close game. So I think all the coaches in the conference know that this Howard team can truly be the Cinderella story of the tournament, and they're proving it so far in the first 45 minutes of this first game with a great early goal in the 10th minute. And this could be one of those games for them.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll just step away for a moment and relax here at halftime and come back in just a few moments and get the second half started here in this quarterfinal. We are live in Savannah today, playing in Savannah because of rain and field conditions back in Statesboro. Georgia Southern University hosting this tournament. We'll get back there tomorrow for 2 semifinal matchups starting at 4 o'clock Eastern. The winner of this one that you're watching right now will be playing the number 1 seed, Georgia State. That match will be on ESPN+. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, the second semifinal, the number 2 seed and host Georgia Southern Eagles taking on the number 3 seed, App State Mountaineers. So we'll step aside for a moment, let you go relax, get something to drink, and get back here for the start of the second half in just a moment with the Howard Bison leading the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers 1-0. Back in Savannah, where we're getting ready for the start of the second half in this quarterfinal. Howard leading Coastal 1-0. Matt Stewart along with Eddie Rodriguez. So the Coastal side's out there. They're ready to go. What do you think the message was from Sean Dawking in the locker room for his side?
I think the message is pretty simple for them. They need to continue playing the way they are. They're a good, solid team. They need to keep the ball on the ground, and they need to possess the ball and keep it around, move it around. They need to move the ball around so they can try to find those gaps behind, and you can put a couple of players through. Tyrone Mondi, Justin Matthews, and Geronimo Power, a couple of the players who came in, and of course off the bench, Saif Al-Hamali, also a player who got through a couple of times. But the biggest thing for Coastal Carolina is you cannot just go and start kicking the ball, start playing physical against Howard in the means of fouls. You know, of course you got to win your own tackles, but for them, you got to play your system and not Howard. Howard's playing a totally different system, and it's not gonna. You can't go into the other team's structure, and that's what happened in the last 15 minutes of the first half.
So Bison making their way out on the pitch with the 1-0 lead and 45 minutes away from pulling off the upset and advancing to the semifinals. Message from Coach Jow. I believe that you don't think they can sit back and sit on this lead.
No, actually, no. That's the worst thing you can do right now, just because there's so much time on the clock for Coach Jow and the Howard team. They need to come out. They need to not high press, but they need to press, meaning that you want to close the space when Coastal is on top of the 18. The first player has to put pressure on the ball. Coastal is the type of team that if you give them a lot of time on the ball and a lot of space, they will pick you apart. That's how good they are. So for Howard, they need to pressure. They need to pressure everywhere on the field. Start your line of confrontation at about 3/4 of the field, and then from then on, you got to go and fight and win every single one. On the offensive side for Howard, they got to take advantage of the corner kicks, set pieces around the box. Every time you have one of those, make sure you have a great delivery and make sure you have numbers in the box.
Matt Stewart along with Eddie Rodriguez as we start the second 45 minutes here in Savannah. Again, this quarterfinal moved from Statesboro to Savannah today after last night's rainout. Trying to preserve the field conditions. Everything should be ready to go for the semifinals back at Eagle Field tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock. The winner of this game with the quick turnaround and having to face the number 1 seed, Georgia State Panthers, tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+.
And once again, you see Pablo in the middle of your screen winning 2 balls, and that's the importance of playing that defensive center mid, that number 6.
Sabeling gets it back from Odendahl. Kick into the middle and intercepted by Pierre. Cunningham is able to get his head on it. And a whistle going against the Chanticleers here as Al-Hamali is going to be called for the foul.
Yeah, there's the warning to Saeed Al-Hamali by the referee. It was a very high kick that if you would have made contact, you would have been in trouble. So
that was the 12th foul called on the Chanticleers. Triple the number of the Bison here so far today.
This is where Howard has to be able to hold the ball when you're in the attacking third. Because if not, you're going to be forced, Matt, to play defense for 45 minutes, 43 now. And the question is, can you hold off the pressure from Coastal?
Daniel Hart with our lone goal today, and a triple team loses the ball, but the Bison get it back. Chipped ahead for Gierma, and a shove in the back by Gierma.
But that's the ball that you want, though. Gierman right one-on-one with Fidel. And anything can happen in one of those deliveries. You don't want a one player just marking Victor Gierman, who's been so good on the ball the first half.
Al-Hamali will take the kick just beyond the midfield stripe. Strike across the field, ball in the air, and controlled by the Bison. But Sabeling comes in to intercept it.
Good composure by Coastal, though. They're trying to put the ball on the ground and truly play their system, which is keeping the ball and switching the point of attack. Fine feet. And you see how they work the ball from side to side, trying to open up the space in the middle.
And Odendahl goes down. We'll have a foul called on Garwood and a yellow card on Garwood. That'll be our third yellow of the day and the second on the Bison.
Garwood with a foul, and the problem, of course, with that is that the Coastal Carolina player was going through. That was Paul Odendahl with a good run out of the back.
So Monday or Tim will take this kick. Now watch for Matthews in the box. Try to elevate something here for Matthews to get his head on it. Sabaline standing there unmarked in the box right now. A double team on Matthews as Mondi gets set to put it in play, and he does know, and Tim's going to take it instead. A hard strike, and it's headed out of there. Didn't get the elevation on it they were looking for.
And you see the great job by Howard just clearing the ball out of the back to just get anything out of danger, especially in the box.
Mondi trying to control it back there. Can't keep it from going over the end line. And Caro will boot it out of there.
And that was Andres Gomez in that defensive tackle. The fourth official will have a chat with the middle official. Looks like the clock is
Yeah,
off.
they're going to synchronize the clock here. Gomez couldn't control the pass. Ahamali to the sideline, and Odendahl.
And you hear some of the instructions from the center back from Howard saying make him play back, and that's actually the right thing to do.
Long
Put pressure.
run for Matthews. Ball was open there, and Carroll is able to recover. Dangerous play as Carroll comes out of the net before Matthews could get to the ball.
Now, once again, great heads-up play by Kerr, the goalkeeper, knowing that Matthews was coming in a great through ball. Right place, right time, and once again saving Howard in the back.
Long run down the sideline. I believe that's Cunningham. Pardon me, that was not Cunningham. Back the other way, and Tim turns to center, intercepted by the Bison. Donquo had it.
Franchino Chambers was the player that made a run from the right side, and he's been active as well. A couple of times he's gotten a couple of good balls, but you know, the problem with playing an outside, you're only as good as the balls you get, and when he's not on, he's not getting the ball. He's been technically sound defensively, tucking in when he doesn't have the ball.
Sabaline in the box. Weaves his way through the defense, trying to get a clear shot. Carroll with the save. His fourth save of the match. Power gets it out there in front. The ball up in the air and going to go out of bounds.
Ziggy Sabaline once again, with a great individual effort. Took care of three Howard defenders, took a shot, and once again, the goalkeeper Carlos Caro keeping Howard in this game.
Caro showing you why he earned Sunbelt second team honors with his play here in the net today. Long run and a nice tackle in the box by Garwood.
That's actually a great tackle, because if you look, he got all ball. And look where the ball went. Just a great timing tackle. I know it looks like for some people it's a foul, but it's not a foul. He gets the ball, and to know that, just look at where the ball goes after the tackle.
Tim will take the corner. Matthews working right in front of the box. It's headed out of there, but not far enough away from Fidel. Mondi will kick to Tim. He'll try to set something up from the right side, out in front. Ahamali gets it back to the side, and Mondi on the left side now, working from the left side of the box. Out in front and headed out of there.
Gray driven cross into the box. Looking for Mondi.
Yeah, I think that was Tim who drove it, and Sabeling just could not get a clean shot at it. Man down right now is Garwood for the Bison, right there by the near post.
Coastal Carolina putting a lot of pressure on this Howard defense. And once again, Matt, is because they need to come out and put pressure on the ball. If you let Coastal circulate the ball in the middle, find feed, find players, they're a very good team going forward.
So Garwood looks like he will stay on, and he'll take the throw in. Ahamali. Shot at the net and goal, Coastal! Siki Sabeling finds the back of the net, and we are tied at 1.
What a great one-time finish by Ziggy Sabeling, just sending the ball to the back of the net. Found the ball in the air with a one-time right foot shot to the far post. And now in this case, nothing the goalkeeper Carlos Cara could do. Coastal Carolina finding the back of the net, 1-1 in the second half.
Siki Sabeling, the junior out of Johannesburg, with his 6th goal of the season. 6 goals, 6 assists now for Sabeling. 3rd in the conference with 18 points. And now we're back to square one, tied at 1.
And see, now this changes everything for Howard because they're going to have to go forward now, put pressure.
Daniel Hart looking for the centering pass. Pass deflected. Cunningham comes up to get it, intercepted by the Chanticleers. Sabeling, who just had the goal, coming back to help out. Powers pass deflected. Sabeling gets it back here on the near side. Cross from Mondi is intercepted. Matthews will be there. Matthews going over to Odendahl. Odendahl just outside the box. Has it on his right foot. In front from Matthews. And deflected off the post in the goal. Sabeling, and they will call it off.
Yeah, but
It will
great
not
job
count.
by Coastal, though. They switched the point of attack and a great run from the right side. Odendahl, who played the ball into the box for Yasid Matthews, hit the cross, hit the post, actually, and that's when
Yep.
Ziki was offsides. But just the movement from Coastal was great. They switched the point of attack, and those are the spaces they're going to find when they do so. Keeping
Just-
the ball in the middle is huge for them.
Just the change in energy from this Coastal side over the last couple of minutes. His power races up. Matthews has it taken off his foot.
Well, you talk about the intensity, but now look at the space they're finding. That intensity is matched with how good they're moving the ball. And when you do that, you're going to see how much pace you can gain. And now all of a sudden, Coastal looks like a brand new team in the second half.
So 1-1 here in the second half after the goal by Sabeling. And nearly had him a second tally within seconds of the last. It was waved off with the offside call. Guillermo gets it back. Long strike, curving towards the post, and a diving save by Tatalo.
Great shot by Victor Guillermo from about 35 out with a full extension by Chris Datalo. And talk about great saves. Talk about the timing of a great save. The goalkeeper from Coastal just with a little note saying, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still in this game. And just a great save.
Ahamali
second post.
trying to run under it.
couple of subs for Howard.
Nicholas Turk checks in for the first time for the Bison, and Franchino Chambers will come out. And that's Ronald Little, who just checked into the game as well. Now Matthews to Mondi. Mondi trying to run it down in the far side of the box. Centering to Power.
Yeah, it was a bad giveaway by Ronald Little. He just came in the game from Howard.
Substitution for the Chanticleers as Willoughby will come in. Ahamali will come out.
Yeah, Wallaby had a great first half. Got into scoring spots a couple of times.
Sabaline still was able to get off a shot near the post, even though he was at a terrible angle.
Yeah, the linesman saying he went out and he came back in because of the spin of the ball. So it's a goal kick for Howard.
Cunningham ahead for Guillermo, and Tatala was there to scoop it up.
Yeah, Victor almost got through. The defender had the inside track he was on. Look at all the space right here, Matt.
Sabaline, nice pass to the side, and Mondi trying to get it back out in front. Nice dribble, ball in the air and up over the post.
Yeah, once again, Ziggy and Mondi finding loads of space around the 18. Good cross and not the best header, but it was rather difficult for Wallaby just to make good contact. But the fact that Coastal is finding those spaces, it tells you that confidence in the second half, it's like a totally different team. Now they're going forward and they're finding success with the shots as well.
Tim will watch it roll out of bounds. Cunningham and Fidel battle for it. And a whistle going against Howard here, right outside the box.
Those are the 50-50 balls that Howard, they need to win if they want to stay in this game. Because when they go forward, they're dumping the ball in the box. So truly, you got to win those. And of course, if you're able to bring the ball down and have a chance to go 2-goal. Other than that, they haven't been able to put anything together going forward, unlike Coastal.
Kick coming up for the Chanticleers just beyond the midfield line. And Fidel will take it. He's got that strong left leg. This Bison team needs to be wary of him putting it in the box from here.
Yeah, he does have that great delivery. He can drive a ball 60 yards in the air. And when you have that type of player, you want to get numbers in the box.
Elects to go to the side instead. Willoughby comes up to get it. Has it taken off his foot by Gomez. Coastal doing a much better job in this half, Eddie, of denying any kind of attack or counterattack by the Bison.
Yeah, and what they've done is they cut the service, not so much in the back, but if you have the ability to cut the service, the ball never gets to your defensive side, and that's one of the things they've done. To put pressure in the middle, and they're finding success.
Power on the attack. Power looking for Matthews, and the pass too strong.
Yeah, too heavy of a touch by Powers. Did a good job checking, turning, and he tried to put the ball on the ground. Just too heavy of a touch. But what worries me is that he's finding those 15 yards in front of the 18, because when you're going at defenders like that, it's so hard for defenders to step in and win the ball.
11 shots for Coastal, 3 for the Bison. 6 shots on goal for Coastal, 2 for the Bison. 5 saves by Carlos Caro in net for Howard has kept them in the ball game under at what times has been a relentless attack by Coastal, particularly here early in the second half, as they've tied this match at 1-1.
Joel Cunningham, the captain for Howard, gets up, and he's still limping going into the box, but
quick throw in coming for Howard. Trying to get the ball ahead to Donkwu. They would like to get the big fellow, the young freshman, involved in this thing. He's 6'3". He's had minimal chances so far in this match. Sabaline. To the side it goes, and the pass from Odendahl is intercepted. Deflected out of bounds by Odendahl.
and you see that great movement on and off the ball by the Coastal Carolina team. Just great to watch. Wallaby.
DZ Harmon will check in, and Geronimo Power will come out. Coastal has played 5 more players than Howard today, and we'll see how those depth issues, that depth discrepancy for the Bison plays out here in the second half.
And that's something you need to worry about. We're about the 72nd minute of this match, and this is right about the time, Matt, when the legs start to get a bit heavy, especially if you're doing that much defending like Howard.
Sabaline takes it away. Sabaline looking for Matthews. Now Odendahl. Matthews takes a run into the box, and the pass goes where he was and not where he was going. They're really working on trying to get a centering pass, something up in the air maybe for Matthews. Mondi off his chest, scoots it to Matthews, back to Mondi, and it's there for Caro.
Great 1-2 between Mondi and Matthews. You see them on top of the box, and once again is the movement off the ball that Coastal Carolina is having so much success. Not only do they play the ball, but they make a run after they play the ball and expect to get it back. Of course, defending Howard, they need to stay with a runner. So once you pick up the player, whether they pass the ball or not, you need to stay with them defensively so they don't get the ball back.
Throw in coming for Coastal. Under 27 minutes left in regulation. Gerbig. Chip for Willoughby. Willoughby can't get to it. Quick throw in for the Chanticleers. Comes to Sabaline, who's had himself a big second half. Has the goal that has equalized this match. Chip in there, and Caro is there to intercept it. He's all over the place. Does a really good job of anticipating, knowing where that ball is going.
Yeah, and that's all about reading the game, Matt, knowing where the ball is going to go. And you talk about that expectation of getting to the ball before the other player does.
Counterattack for the Chanticleers, and Matthews. Matthews trying to get by his defender and can't get a good strike on it. think that was Garwood who was marking him and giving him a good job cutting down the angle.
Yeah, Matthews with a great run. Unfortunately, he took a touch away from the goal. You want to take that touch in, try to get around the Howard defender, but by the time you strike the ball, your hips are facing away from the actual goal, and that's why the ball went out wide to the right of the goal.
Gomez, we've not heard a lot from Gomez since he picked up that yellow card in the first half. He's their second leading scorer. Now Matthews has it again. Goes to Mondi. Mondi on a long run. Carroll comes out of the net. Mondi, there's an open net. Fires. Goal, Coastal Carolina. Tyrone Mondi has put the Chanticleers on top 2-1.
Great job by Mondi with that finish. It was a 1-2 between and Siki Sebeling with the 1-2 on top of the box. Mondi finds the ball, and he sends the ball to the back of the net. Great timing on this 2-1 from Coastal Carolina. And once again, Matt, it comes because of the movement on and off the ball. It's 1-2, and guess what? Mondi was being marked by the number 10 that you mentioned, Andres Gomez, who wasn't able to stay with him speed-wise. Mondi crossed the ball to Ziggy, and then he got the ball back to Mondi, and Mondi did the refs. Great shot to the far post. Upper V, he puts Coastal Carolina up 2-1 late in the second half.
Third goal of the season for Tyrone Mondi, the redshirt sophomore out of South Africa, coming back from a torn ACL a year ago, and perhaps has netted his second game winner of the season, putting Coastal on top 2-1.
And of course, they both get a break, just very well deserved. And if you're Howard, you need to switch your point of attack and start going forward. You need to go back with the three forwards, and I think they have, because this score, of course, is not going to help you for the rest of the game.
Down the sideline, long run. And Fidel is there to intercept the pass. Guillermo, their leading scorer, with only one shot in the match. They did get the early goal in the 11th minute from Hart, but that has been a season-long problem for this Bison team. Not enough offense, not enough goals, and when you get the opportunities, not taking advantage of them.
No, I think you're right. I mean, they have a great goalkeeper. Their defense has done a great job, the midfielders, but, you know, it's tough when you don't score goals. That's truly the name of the game, and especially when you have clear chances. If you don't put them away, they usually come back to bite you at the end, and that's pretty much been the season for this Howard team. Now, overall, and part of the starting 11, just a great and very physical and athletic team as well.
Willoughby on the dribble, gets by a man, Power. Now to Matthews and Odendahl. Chanticleers continue to press offensively, trying to perhaps put this match away with a third goal. Power has it stolen away, but there is Harmon.
Yeah, DZ has done a great job ever since he came off here in the second half, because all he's doing is connecting the dots, and that's truly what you want from someone in the middle right now. Just get the ball and play it a 1-2 touch. Do not dribble. You don't have to dribble. You can just sit in the middle of the pitch and just distribute, and that's something he's done so well.
Coastal will bring it over to the near side now after playing it back to Datalo. Gomez. Danquou. Just not a lot happening offensively for the Bison right now, having trouble controlling the ball beyond midfield.
Well, the only time they go to and they can get to the attacking third is just by kicking the ball up and see what happens, unlike Coastal Carolina, who gets there with the ball under control, with a lot of runs, especially off the ball, and they always have that player that they can play the ball into.
13 shots for the Chanticleers, only 3 for the Bison. Kalabiaka comes in. Kalabiaka, number 7, has checked in. Guillermo, again a double team on him. Gomez gets it back and has it taken away from him. Bodies on the ground, they play on, no whistle.
Andres Gomez. Howard was looking to get a penalty kick when Gomez went through. Ball goes for a corner kick.
Kaboyaku will take this corner kick. Ball still loose, and Datalo will come and get to it. Had to beat Chambers to the ball and was able to do it.
And Victor Guillermo might have gotten a header on that. Not on goal, but the keeper comes out and gets the ball, and Coastal once again starting out of the back.
20 minutes remaining in regulation, and now a 2-1 lead for Coastal. Matthews gives it to Power, looking to get it back. Out in front, and offsides the call. The goal will be waved off.
Yeah, Matthews was at least three steps offsides, but once again, Coastal finding the back of the net, but finding space. They switch a point of attack, and I think Saif Al-Hameli played the ball across to Matthews, who got the header, but of course he was offsides.
Ahamali to Power. Power's got Odendahl there, going to get it to him. Odendahl makes a run to the corner, and his centering pass is deflected. Mateo Turner, and quickly back Howard, and a whistle going to stop the counterattack, and Philip Chow not happy about that. Hart in the middle will drop it back. McCann, who had checked into the ball game. Nobody there for Howard. A lot of finger pointing going on right now on the Bison side.
Yeah, and this is not the time where Howard needs to just give up. They need to continue to do what they're doing, switching the ball, putting the ball on the ground, and truly trying to find their forwards.
Turner. Chip headed out by Gerbig. Gomez chips it towards the box, and again intercepted. Bison applying pressure. Guillermo in a double team, trying to get it out to Turner. Turner with the left foot. Gomez now. Long strike and off the mark.
Great shot to the far post, and from where we are, Matt, I thought that shot had a chance, but
and so did the
Yeah.
entire Bison bench. They just grabbed their heads and fell to their knees as that shot was wide of the post.
Yeah, they all got up thinking it was going to find itself right into the goal to the back of the post, but great shot. And once again, it all comes because Howard is finally putting the ball down and playing and finding their forwards' feet.
Wow, hard tumble right in front of us is Mateo Turner. Hopefully he's okay. They continue to play on, man. He was elevated and hit hard on this turf. Under 17 minutes left in regulation.
And from now, you see how much Howard's just sitting back. They need to come out and put pressure. Because if you let this Coastal, once again, you see how much they're keeping the ball in the back. Now, because they have the score, they're 2-1, and they have the time as well. They're just going to switch your point of attack in the back and go whenever it's on. They're not forced to go on anymore like they were when the game was, 1-0, and they tied it up. Now it's 2-1, so now they have it all. They can just sit back and switch that ball in the back.
So a kick coming up here for the Howard Bison from about 40 yards out. More like 50 yards out. Pierre will take it. Curling into the box, going to go all the way through and over the line.
Yeah, Pablo was trying to clear the ball, the defensive center mid for Coastal. Big presence in the middle, and once again he jumps out for the challenge. No problem.
Time winding down in this quarterfinal. Under 15 and a half minutes on the regulation clock. 2-1 lead for Coastal. The winner advances to play Georgia State, 4 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow back at Eagle Field in Statesboro in the semifinals. The Panthers, the number 1 seed for the first time since joining the Sun Belt Conference. Things got a little feisty over there on that far sideline, and Clark steps in and blows the whistle.
That's Morton Tim. Is he going to get a yellow, or is he just going to give him a warning?
I have not seen the yellow yet. We've had 3 yellows in this match. And Tim's already picked up 1 yellow in the first half. Power comes back the other way. Long crossing pass, intercepted. Chambers to Gomez. Can the Bison mount an attack here in the closing minutes of this match? Tim forces it back the other way for the Chanticleers. Alhamadi in the middle. Now to Matthews. Matthews trying to get it back to him. Left it out in front. Ball is loose. Harmon takes a shot. Caro gets in front of it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if DZ Harmon was offsides. The ball goes back to him, and he takes a quick shot. And once again, much better was Carlos Caro.
And a kick will come from 45 yards out here as Gomez came over the back. Two matches coming up tomorrow. We'll be back on ESPN Plus tomorrow for the semifinals. Georgia State against the winner of this one, and then the host Georgia Southern Eagles at 7 o'clock Eastern there at Eagle Field, Irk Russell Park, to take on the App State Mountaineers. Alhamadi takes the kick. Looking for Harmon, going to go through and over the line.
Saif Ahmali had Pablo wide open in the middle. He could have just played the short one, but
Indley and Fortune check into the game for the Chanticleers. Matthews is going to come off, and so is Tim. Do you think with Matthews coming off, you have the lead 2-1, perhaps a look ahead to tomorrow and resting him, giving him some valuable rest time here? You have less than or about 24 hours before your next match against the number 1 seed. Man down for the Bison right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good point you bring up, because now we need to worry about the quick turnaround for, if the score stays the same for Coastal Carolina. So now you got to start bringing out your starters and think about a little bit of extra rest for them. So those are the things that are going through Sean Docking right now.
Can you afford yourself that luxury at this point? With 13 minutes to play, can you start thinking about that next one just yet?
Definitely now with a flat back 4 and your number 6 in the middle, which is in this case is Pavel. So I would leave the flat back for sure in the defensive center mid, and maybe a forward too, maybe an outside player. As you know, players like Monty that runs a lot, that gets to the end line, and even players like Odendall, too, who's make some great runs out of the back. Those are the ones that you can take out and just put a defensive player, somebody who's just going to sacrifice their body and give you another good, solid 12 and a half minutes left in this game and get out the score. But, no, you don't want to give everybody out. I mean, it's a great point you bring up. There's still a lot of time for Howard to come back and tie this game.
Well, they just lost their leading offensive threat. Victor Guillermo comes to the bench. He looked like he took a shot to the nose. I have no doubt he'll try to get back in there shortly. But the All-Sun Belt second team forward, their leading scorer with a team leading 5 goals, 11 points on the season.
Yeah, with him, you want to give him a couple of minutes rest, 2-3 minutes, and then bring him back on the pitch with perhaps 9 minutes left in the game, and hopefully he can get another shot on goal, another chance for Howard.
Approaching 12 minutes in regulation.
And Coach Sean Dawkin telling his goalkeeper, Vitalo, that to drive the ball out of the back, looking for DZ and, of course, also number 9, Jaden Fortune.
There's DZ right there, yep. And DZ right there, Eddie.
Yeah, something that, when you hear something like that, a coach telling you something specifically, that means they practice it. That means that they've done it before. It's kind of a set piece, we call it, so.
I think just we've talked about the physical nature of this game. Coastal's just a bigger team physically. They've got bigger bodies. And I wonder how much wear and tear, especially there, that's had on the front line for the Bison trying to mount an attack.
No, yeah, when you're fighting the whole game against someone who's a lot bigger than, a lot faster than you, then it definitely takes a toll, especially in turf.
Chambers scoots the ball ahead. Garwood lost it. Al-Hamadi ahead to Willoughby. Willoughby, and that's Fortune going to run onto it. In the box, Fortune out in front. Harmon, shot deflected. Ball still alive for the Chanticleers. Willoughby, long strike and right into the arms of Caro.
Dizzy with a great ball, though, by Jaden Fortune. Couldn't do much more with that, but he had a wide open net and then shot it right at Carlos Caro. But once again, the movement on and off the ball by Coastal Carolina has now definitely played dividends. I mean, you see the difference in one team just in one half.
Well, the fresh legs, too, is Fortune, who just came in the game, gets it back again. Long run, and deflected away by Caro. Still alive in the box for Harmon. Had it knocked off his feet, and Power goes back to get it.
And once again, if it's not for the goalkeeper, Carlos Caro, it would have been another goal for Coastal. But great run into the space by Jaden Fortune, finding space and having a crack at it going downtown.
And I think, Eddie, the fresh legs here for the Chanticleers, Harmon and Fortune coming into the game. Al-Hamadi there in the box working out in front, and Harmon couldn't connect.
Yeah, you talked about the difference in how many more players Coastal Carolina has used in this match. And, whether you like it or not, that makes a difference. When you've been playing on for, 80 minutes, if you're a starter and you haven't gotten even a 2-minute break or, of course, other than the half, your legs start to get heavy. Now you're not getting to the ball on time. Now you're losing your mark, and that changes the tempo of the game, the speed of the game as well, and you're not as sharp.
Giarma's going to check back in here for Howard, their leading scorer. He was not on the bench long. But I don't think there's any question. You take a look at, Fortune and Harmon coming back into the game after some time on the bench for Coastal. They just look like they're moving at a different speed than everybody else.
Yeah, no, you get a short break. You come out, you hydrate, and you go back in, and you have the second wind, and of course, when you can do that and when you can rotate the ball, keep the ball to your feet, find space, you're a different team. Now you're working at a different pace, and it shows on the field as well.
Gomez over here to Turner. Turner with the left foot, right on the mark, and over the goal.
It's a great idea, a cross shot that almost found the back of the net.
Luke
Mateo
Williams.
Turner.
Harmon's going to come out after a strong run. I mean, they got a lot out of Harmon and Fortune brought them in together. Just go in there and give me a good, hard 5 minutes.
And a lot of times that's all you need, Matt, especially in the college game. You just go in, play defense for 5 minutes, and just plug this hole here, plug that hole there. And it does a lot for your team because you're getting somebody with fresh legs, a lot of energy, and especially playing against a team that doesn't make a lot of subs because the level is going to drop. So you got to take it to them, and that's something Coastal has done so well. And you got to give kudos to Coach Sean Docking for that.
Good job by the Chanticleers playing that ball in the air. Fortune trying to get back to it, and Cunningham cuts him off. Cunningham with the left foot strike. Jerema can't get to it, just over his head. And that's what I was kind of talking about there. Jerema at 6 feet, just not as quite the physical presence of Matthews and then Harmon and Fortune when you get those guys in the box for Coastal.
Yeah, he's more of a breakaway forward, a little bit smaller. But, you know, also on top of that, Matt, you have Fidel in the back who's had a great game. You saw in that one, so cheeky, so smart. When he wasn't going to win the header, all he did is duck, and the ball went out of bounds. So now you truly have the ball, and the best thing that the forward never touches the ball. So great job in the back as well.
Hart, who has the goal for the Bison today, can't control it. Ahead to Fortune. They have some numbers. Bison trying to get back. Nice defensive job there, but Al-Hamadi battles for it there, about 40 yards out. Chambers steals it back. Now to Hart. Time running out on the Bison. Hart tries to scoot it ahead. The ball will go all the way through to Tatalo.
See, once again, Fidel with a great defensive scheme. He steals the ball. He plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Tatalo. Now they come out of the other side, and they keep the ball going forward.
Now Gomez on the attack for the Bison. Again, trying to scoot it ahead to Jerema, and he can't catch up with it.
So close for Howard, yet so far. Gomez with too heavy of a touch. That's the right ball you want to play into space for Victor Guillermo, who's been so active throughout the game. The right pace on that pass, Matt, it's so critical. It's crucial, especially right now in the last 6 minutes of this match.
Gomez, and again, the Bison trying to find the equalizer here. His time is running out on him in this quarterfinal match.
And now you see the middle is wide open for both teams. You go back to back, almost like a tennis match. You see the spacing, 4 in the back for Coastal, trying to hold on to this score.
Chambers comes free. Chambers takes a strike at it. Tatalo gets down on the ground to safely cover it.
Yeah, that's too far against a great goalkeeper like Tatalo. You could have played the ball right into that space for Victor Guillermo all the time and keep making a run. So hopefully get it back from Guillermo.
Under 5 minutes.
So now Sean Docking telling Saif just to drop and stay in the middle. Playing with a 4-5-1 and just holding off the last 4 minutes of the match. I mean, that's tactically the best thing to do. You don't have to go forward, Matt, so you don't want to risk anything. But defensively, keep that shape in the back. You got the 4 in the back. Stay with that extra midfielder and watch this.
Fortune. Ball ahead. Nice save by Caro to come out and deny Luke Williams.
Once again, Carlos Caro with a great save. One-on-one with Luke Williams, who found the ball right there. And, you know, Carlos Caro definitely for player of the game for Howard. I mean, he's kept them in the game time and time again.
10 saves for Caro in this match. Clock approaching 3 minutes in regulation and a 2-1 lead for Coastal.
This is
Fortune
when you
out in
can
front.
This is when you can start taking the ball in the corner, Matt, and, try to
Yep.
not only get the corner kick, but just shave 30, 40 seconds off that clock. And, one of the things you do to waste time, if you will, but, it's part of time management, it's part of coaching as well. You're out 2-1. You were down 1-0, so you got to give credit once again to Sean Dawkins. He turned this game around. The second half, it was pretty much been all 1-2 for Coastal Carolina as far as chances on goal.
Sabaline with the goal, the equalizer. And then Mandi with the go-ahead goal for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, as they now have 2.5 minutes to protect before they can advance to the semifinals. Got a man down for Coastal over on the far side. Might be Willoughby, who's favoring, I believe, his right leg. I think they will play on. I think Willoughby will stay in. Might have a substitution here as Heinrich Muller comes to the table. They're waiting to see if Willoughby will stay in. I think Willoughby's going to, after a second thought, decide to come off.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the right thing. If you're hurting a little bit, you really don't want to put your team in jeopardy.
Yep.
Just come out. There's 2 minutes and 19 seconds. You've had a great game. A lot of running from you, so just save the 2 minutes. And, of course, put a good, big defender like Heinrich Muller just for the last couple of minutes of the game. Win the balls in the air, and you get out of here to the next round.
He's a big guy, 6'5", out of Germany. Haven't seen a lot of Muller today. He started, and then he has spent a lot of time over on the side.
Yeah, he was playing that number 6, like a defensive center mid, and Pavel came in instead of him, another 6'5" rather, but him out of Finland. Oulu, Finland for Pavel.
Yeah, Muller has played only 13 minutes today. Under 2 minutes.
And I think he was expected to play a little more.
Yeah.
I think he struggled with the speed of the game, especially with Howard's athleticism. And I think Dawkins saw that and decided to make the change.
Real physical play right here as Fortune shoves down Chambers. Quick throw in, time running out for the Bison.
Yeah, this is when you want to start dumping balls in the box if you're Howard. Play with 3 forwards and deliver the ball in the box if you can. But, of course, Matt, those deliveries have to be quality. Far post, a driven ball. You can't just hang it in the air. Once you hang it in the air, you give advantage to the defensive side.
1 minute left on the clock. Long boot by Caro. Hart can't get to it. Now the Bison bringing everybody up. Caro coming up.
Of course, for Coastal, you want to cut the service. You don't want them to set up, take a pick, and deliver that ball.
Turner high in the box. Ball in the air. And Muller, who just checked into the game. Actually, that was Rajavi. Knocked it out.
No, and that's the reason why you want those big players in the box at the end. You want them to win every single 50-50 challenge, especially in the air. So important.
And Rajavi and Muller on that back line. Countdown, ahead it comes to Fortune. Caro trying to get back. Fortune will take a long shot off the mark. And Coastal Carolina has advanced to the semifinals with a 2-1 victory over the Howard Bison.
Yeah, great job by Coastal Carolina and how they approached this game. Early enough, they found themselves in a hole, 1-0 early in the game, 10 minutes into the first half, and all of a sudden, they went away from playing their style. And then after the second half, they came out. They were able to put the ball down, knock the ball around, find space, find feed, and now you saw that difference in the second half. You saw the all Coastal Carolina, led, of course, by the great coach Sean Dawkins. And after that, they were able to put their chances away. They put 2 in the back of the net, and that's the difference in this game.
Sabaline with the goal in the 52nd minute to equalize it. And then it was Mandi in the 65th minute to win it for the Chanticleers, and a quick turnaround for them now. A little more than 24 hours. They have to get back on the pitch against the number 1 seed Georgia State Panthers.
So now think about this, man. Now they got to get back on the bus, and it's a solid hour back to Statesboro. Get back into the hotel and try to hydrate first. The first thing you got to do, and trying to get off your feet, because in 24 hours you got to do this again. Of course, you got to give credit to Philip Yao, the coach for Howard, and just to the Bisons, because they played a great game. They almost got away with their tactical plan. A great job by Coach Phillip, because he knew that it's been a long season for them. It's been the season, not that he wanted. They had a hard time finding the back of the net throughout the season. Today, they found it early, and they almost got away with one here in the first round of this Sun Belt Championship Conference.
Yeah, and Sean Dawkins had told us earlier in the week that one of the big challenges would be how will you respond physically to playing Georgia State after having to play a match. Well, that was before the schedule was altered.
Yeah.
And so the schedule took another hit last night when the quarterfinal was rained out in Statesboro. So the challenge is even greater for Dawkins and his team now as they play tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
No, you're absolutely right, because now you took out 24 hours of that rest period that they could have had. Now it's a quick turnaround, 24 hours. So now you go and think, do I start with the same starting 11?
Yeah.
Do I switch it a little bit? So now your players that to come off the bench become crucial players. And a lot of the times, as you know, Matt, in tournament time, one of the heroes can come off the bench and give you that extra hump the last 20, 30 minutes of any game. So now the whole entire roster of 18, it's actually 21 for college, they got to be ready to come off the bench and truly be a catalyst, because, you know, just to be part of the starting 11 is just not good enough. You got to rely on your players if you want to make it to the final for Sunday.
Well, they played 10 days ago in Atlanta. Panthers beat the Chanticleers 4-3, so they get the rematch tomorrow. That's just one of our 2 semifinals tomorrow. Kind to set the stage for you tomorrow. We'll be back on ESPN Plus tomorrow. And congratulations to our great crew, Art Berger and his staff here at Georgia Southern University on very short notice, let me tell you. We got the text this morning that we're playing today, playing in Savannah, an hour away, and we're playing at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And Art Berger and his crew did a fabulous job of getting us on the air for this quarterfinal matchup. So kudos to them for doing a fine job today. And we'll be back on the campus at Georgia Southern University tomorrow for the semifinals.
Yeah, no, that shows you the professionalism of Art and everybody that works at Georgia Southern, you know, and the broadcasting group and all the students who do a phenomenal job just to get us out here. A few minutes notice, as you mentioned, this morning, and, you know, they got up in the trucks and brought all the equipment just for us to be able to broadcast this game, and he just, you know, great job for them. Of course, tomorrow we're looking forward to being back on their campus, that great studio they have on the football field, and just, you know, bring you guys the remaining of this Sun Belt Championship.
Yeah, one final word on Howard before we go, and I think we'd be remiss if we did not, you know, pat them on the back for a strong showing here today. And, of course, Carlos Caro, who was every bit as much the, you know, Sun Belt all-second-team goalkeeper, showed it today with 10 saves. I thought he was absolutely fabulous, but it really kind of came back to a lot of things that Coach Zhao told us about. You know, they don't have the depth that some of the others, you know, 11 on 11, they're pretty good. When the other team starts substituting, they have some trouble there as far as numbers and as far as stamina and depth, and it played out. But he felt like this was the best team he'd had in his 4 years there, and I think they have a very positive future in front of them.
No, I think you're right. I think I go as far as to say that Carlos Caro could, you know, would have made a point to say, you know, Defender of the Year, because the way he played today in tournament time is just, I mean, he kept this Howard team time and time again with so many, not only saves, Matt, but they're crucial saves inside the 6, right on the line when you think, you know, as well as he said, that they could have gone in. And this game, if you think about it, it could have been 3-4 in the first half only. And then he was able to keep him in the game. And of course, you give kudos not only to him, but Coach Philip Yao. Tactically, he came out, he had the right approach, and they almost pull it off. Once again, another close game, 2-1 against another great Coastal Carolina side.
Yeah, absolutely. The 4th consecutive 1-goal match between these two teams. Howard, the number 5 seed, Coastal, the number 4 seed, but also the 2-time defending tournament champions. I think that tells you how close Howard is to being up there with the rest of them here in this conference. But they will continue on without them. We're down to our final 4. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, we'll have the number 1 seed Georgia State Panthers playing host to the number 4 seed Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. We'll be back on ESPN Plus tomorrow and back at Eagle Field. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern, our second semifinal as the host number 2 seed Georgia Southern Eagles take on the number 3 seed App State Mountaineers. So we've got 2 matches set for you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it, Eddie.
Same here, Matt. We have a lot of great soccer left in the tournament. And, of course, as you mentioned, we're going to be back at, Statesboro, Georgia for, I love that field, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a great pitch and just, every bit of 80 by 120. So just playing in that field and, the fact that we had to go to another field to save that, I think it was the right choice by the Sun Belt Conference. We want to see, a good field for both teams so they can both have a chance.
Yeah, no doubt. Sun Belt made the right decision to preserve that field for the semifinals tomorrow and then the final on Sunday. And after all the rain it took over the last couple of days, it should be in fine shape for the start of the semifinals tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Once again, the final here. Coastal Carolina survives with a 2-1 victory over Howard. And now for Eddie Rodriguez, Art Berger, and our entire Georgia Southern crew, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from Savannah, where the Chanticleers advance to the semifinals.